Macron resign, Macron resign, Macron resign, Macron resign, Macron resign. Oh well, it's me. I've said since before Macron's 2017 election that he isn't a good choice for president. And I think today, pretty much everyone can agree that indeed it's not a good idea, except maybe his last supporters. I don't look to the sides, I go straight ahead. I don't look to the sides, I go straight ahead. For me, his resignation isn't the most important thing. Resignation is just an escape, and I don't want him to get away. I want him judged for his actions, inactions, betrayals, and record. Ah, okay, I see. That becoming president is risky, that you can't take it lightly with the impunity that comes with it. That I end up like Sarkozy in court while on vacation in the Seychelles. Oh no, Helen Fellatio. Yeah, but look, the topic here is Macron resigning, so that's not the point. Well, actually, the point is Macron resigning.
Marine Le Pen and Jean-Luc Mélenchon ultimately share the same goal, Emmanuel Macron stepping down.
Here we have Frédéric Dabi, the general director of the IFOP Group, a polling institute. He's being interviewed here by the very honest Jean-Jacques Bourdin. I'm crossing my fingers with my mouth.
Tell me, are those two allies?
My God. Predictable. Macron is the last defense against extremes.
They are objectively allies.
We shouldn't group everyone wanting Emmanuel Macron to resign together, or we'd need a huge basket. Maybe a poll on that would be interesting, Mr. IFOP?
However, I want to add nuance. They're out of step with what the French people are telling us.
He probably did a poll to find that out. Those people do polls on everything.
IFOP declined to ask about Emmanuel Macron's resignation.
Wait, but why? They poll everything, like, are the French clean? 76% wash daily. Seriously. And yet when it comes to our desire to see our president leave, no, there's nothing.
Did you refuse?
No, I didn't. Yes, polling institutes shouldn't ask questions that could be used politically.
Okay, IFOP poll 2014, 62% of French people want François Hollande to resign. Isn't it more about avoiding polls when the results might not favor pollsters influencing politics?
Spontaneously, there are almost no French people calling for him to leave the Élysée.
That's the guy I know for always adding nuance.
However, I'm going to add some nuance.
Hardly any French people, and he didn't even do a survey. You can tell he knows what he's doing, so what do the French want?
The French are sticking to a schedule. In 2027, Emmanuel Macron has to finish his term.
Oh, I have a bit of a doubt. He messed up his dissolution. All his stances are contradicted, Mayotte. It's one crisis too many that shows the state's inability to act. Yet, I went there and they weren't nice to me. Oh no, not at all. That's why I sent Beirut to them, to show them that I don't care, and Born so she could vape her indifference right in their faces. Internationally, people are making fun of him. The farmers are at the gates of Paris, and he was forced to choose Beirut as prime minister. Beirut? Wait, Beirut, isn't he the guy who always loses at Connect 4? Beirut? Hey, show some respect. It's impressive he's stood still for 40 years with those big ears. Plus, nearly no French person wants him to resign. Seriously? I'd like to see a poll to be sure. Luckily, another polling institute released one that same day.
61% of the people surveyed, Serge Raffi, say they are in favor of Emmanuel Macron resigning. 61%.
61%? That's impressive.
Let me add nuance. Almost no French people. That also puts things in perspective.
So, the guy who runs a polling institute, who we already slightly suspect of manipulating opinions, goes on air and spreads false propaganda. Just so we're sure about his disgusting political media collusions.
86% of French people believe Emmanuel Macron will have to appoint a new prime minister in 2025.
That's good, Beirut. France supports you like never before. 14% believe in you. That's a lot. But keep things hidden. Lower the blinds. 86 kilometers per hour headwind on the satellite dishes. Guess the weather vane's still spinning. 61% support resignation, similar to Hollande's numbers. I'm not sure if matching Hollande is good or bad for Macron. Afterwards, the common point is that Valls and Macron were also in Hollande's government 10 years ago. I think Hollande uses his goofy, harmless look to distract from his responsibility. Honestly, 61% seems low to me. Because there are still 76% of French people who think that Macron is a bad president. 76%, like people who get up daily. Coincidence? Maybe the 24% completely blind to Macron also lack a sense of smell. The remaining 15% think Macron isn't good, but still don't want him to resign. I think these are people who are afraid of greater instability in the country without a president. This is explained by another poll which says that 59% of French people think that the country's instability comes from President Macron. There's a small 18% who see clearly that he's useless, but that maybe it's not all his fault. Well, in your opinion, if I constantly team up with the lamest people, it's obviously to share at least some of the responsibility. And it's really too bad for him that most people aren't fooled, right? Because I think Macron is betting everything on the country's political instability, right? Just a little theory. Even though, in my eyes, he's been messing things up from the start, you can really see that lately he's doing more and more random stuff like he's got nothing left to lose. Proof is, he picked Beirut, the ultimate political void. Even his friends have nothing good to say about him. Right now I think his ears are ringing. Huh? The ashtray shelves are buzzing. Darmanin, Aurore Berger, Valls, Montchalin, Born. But it's clear they're really trying to sink the country as fast as possible and bring down the government. And that as many times as it takes to leave the country in the monumental mess these past years have created. And it's stupid because I couldn't even fit all my top 5 in order. No! Bruno and his dyscalculia are abroad. Schiappa, the influencer, couldn't do it either. Now Dupont Moretti has a solo show. We can't rely on our friends now. And at that moment, like magic, Macron resigns and washes his hands of everything. Come on, out you go, putting the current chaos down to the political instability of the past few months. That really wasn't nice, due to the lack of a stable government. Because of who? Because of who? Because of the no confidence motions from the nasty extremists, Chems against Chems.
They are objectively allies.
And here, 2 choices. Either he doesn't give a damn, which is possible, and after selling out the country, he starts selling its secrets to the highest bidder in the private sector. Like Bruno Le Maire, who is now a strategic advisor at the major Dutch group Advanced Semiconductor Materials Lithography. Hey, who says it's not to sink the company? We're still talking about my Bruno here. Either he's running again in 2027 like nothing happened. Well, yeah, he won't have hit the 2-term limit. Yeah, it's a dirty trick, totally psychopathic, so he might do it. And there you have it, triple president for someone who triple pairs if I want to. To canonize Brigitte, I need to be in the game at the right time, but it seems more complicated than I thought. Maybe already because the French mostly know that the crap, he's the one who dumped it. Above all, the media and polling institutes who boosted his last 2 elections no longer support him as before. Oh well, us. We follow the direction we're given. We're switching horses because this one is starting to limp, but don't worry, we'll keep going straight ahead. I can't see to the sides, I go straight ahead. I can't see to the sides, I go straight ahead. When even BFM television seems to have lost faith?
That the dissolution was an absolute failure for the President of the Republic. Emmanuel Macron did everything to save his own skin.
In our shortened 2022 campaign, a misunderstanding arose between Emmanuel Macron and the French people.
The misunderstanding comes from media propaganda forced on us. Even if it changes tactics, we still expect to get stuck with something just as bad. Hearing in my earpiece, Gabriel Attal and Edouard Philippe, Beauty and the Beast. Too bad, no choice. It's a private company, big check and perks for me and Brigitte. Emmanuel Macron resign or not doesn't matter as long as we don't let him escape. And even if possible, let's make a good example out of him for those who come after. It could even be retroactive. We could retry Bruno Le Maire and all the past traitors properly. And maybe monitor them after their political careers end. In government, you must act with restraint, discretion, neutrality, and secrecy like any public official. But once you resign, do those rules no longer apply? They can simply sell the country's weaknesses, which they were meant to defend, to the highest bidder? Seriously?
Paradox.
I say let's go, you know.
Well, I've never been good at math.
Gabriel Adel naked.
He's here.
I am Uhtred's son.
If you want another paradoxa, type on the keyboard. If you want another paradoxa, type on the keyboard. Thank you for the enthusiastic response surrounding the release of the latest episodes. And as always, thank you to everyone who comments, likes, shares, and those who tip.
However, I'm going to add some nuance.
See you very soon.